So yesterday's session we're understanding like how to work with section part, right? So you clearly understood how to work with layout part particularly. And in coming sessions, we'll understand how to get the same output using a template. And then we'll understand how to work with something called views. So which is completely kind of different understanding for it. Okay, so let's make clear one after the another part. Okay. So somehow we understood how to design with sections. So once my section is done, what is the next thing I have to do? We are supposed to create a flow action page. Maybe once flow action is also done, then we'll try to go for something like flow rule execution. Okay, so after we trying to run the flow rule, we have to see work object ID is getting generated automatically or not. And the same whether it is being stored into its database part or not. So we'll try to check for the complete cycle. So now let's understand working or creating something like an flow action. Let me document that. Okay, so working with flow action and flow. So create new flow action and link existing section. Okay, so flow action is a rule which is to be created under process category, right? Okay, so this is what the navigation. And let me create with the name customer details flow action, something meaningful. Okay, customer details flow action. And similar change the same context, framework context. And now create and open. Okay, and here it will ask you what is the section name. So we already created a section. Simply click on down arrow. So I'll be getting something like sections listed out. Okay. So now if I have created 10 more sections on content, no doubt those will be listed out. Kada. So from where are we getting all the sections listed here and there? As we already understood, background law, there will be a table holding each and every row. So what is the table holding all the sections? What is the table holding all the fractions? This you have to know. Okay, so by the way, that particular table holding all the sections, what will be the prefix of the table? What will be the prefix of the table? Come on.
PR4.
It's PR4. Just a second. Okay, so the table name starts with PR4, right? Okay. So we'll understand what is the table name also in detail. So let me save it. That's it. Creating a flaction for today's requirement is pretty simple. And later you'll come to know what are the other options available in flaction and what is something like validation tab and actions tab, everything. Okay, so there will be a separate topic on flaction and its type. So there will come to know more about flaction. But for today, we're understanding flaction is something which can hold a section. That's it. Okay, once my flow action is also done, next what I have to do? Create new flow rule and map existing section. So existing flow action. Okay, creating a floral is little logical. We'll understand the same. Create process flow. Okay, and floral is something common, right? Okay, now I'm creating a floral related to loans registration, within which screen number one for customer details, screen number two maybe his educational details, screen three is nominee details, likewise. Now I have to give floral name something more generic. Let me give it as loans registration. So create and open. So here floral will be looking like a smart shapes in terms of smart shapes. Okay. So designing floral will be like little interesting as well as logical also. We'll discuss about that. Now I can see a floral created with maybe smart shapes, right? What is that, Sudhir?
So do we need to know all the decision-making shapes? Should we have that knowledge for us to create these,
Florals, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that is what I'm explaining. Inside a floral, you'll see everything in terms of smart shapes, right? What is this first smart shape, maybe second, maybe third, and maybe in terms of decision making, what extra smart shapes we have, and what are the supporting rules to be created in the background, and how to write some if logic or nested if logic. Everything you as a developer should take care, no doubt in it. And I'll explain you everything in a row. Okay, don't worry. Fine. So now after I creating a floral, as I told you, everything will be in terms of smart shapes, right? The very first smart shape, what you are seeing, we call this as start shape. And this one, we call it as end shape. And this green color box, we call it as assignment shape. Okay, we call this as assignment shape. So generally, what do you mean by assignment? Suppose if I ask you to do something, meaning which is a task given for you, right? Meaning assignment is also a task. Task for whom? The real bank employees or the real users. So as of now, I just created a flaction which is internally linked with an section, which is internally tied up with some UI elements, right? This flaction, I have to link it on this assignment sheet. Okay, now, if my requirement is to show second screen, okay, screen number one. Now my requirement is to show second screen at there. No doubt I have to create those many properties, right? And then I have to create one more section. And then I have to create one more flaction. Now this flaction, where I have to use it in this flow rule, then you have to take one more assignment shape and link flaction 2. So flaction 1 here. So meaning how many screens you wanted to display, those many sections, those many flagships, and here those many assignment shapes. So what do you mean by assignment? Assignment is some task. Task for whom? The real bank employee. If I'm the real bank employee, I'll try to register my customers, right? So if this is the first customer, I'll try to collect his screen one data, meaning some assignment or some task is what I have to do to collect the data. And maybe task number 2 to collect his second screen information. Maybe task 3, if something is to be collected or if something is like real user should work on. So it is an assignment or task for him, and that is where we are calling it as assignment shape. Okay, fine. So consider I have total 50 screens to be displayed. So you please unmute and answer this. Total, I have 50 screens to be displayed in the output. Okay. So first of all, how many sections we require? Quickly tell me.
50.
What about flagships?
50.
50. And what about florals?
Just one.
What about assignment shapes?
50.
50. That is what we have to understand. So those many assignment shapes is what you have to do. Overall number of smart shapes inside a floral might be 52 in this case. Am I correct? Including
Yeah,
start shape and end shape. Am I correct?
yeah.
Yes, right? Fine. But remember, a flow rule you should not design with more than 17 smart shapes. That is what the recommendation given by Pega. Okay. Inside a flow rule, overall it should not have more than 17 smart shapes. Okay. Now, if my client is asking me to work on 20 screens, then what I have to do? My client requirement is to show 20 screens or 40 screens or 50 screens. Okay, no doubt I have to create a flow rule, and those many assignment shapes is what generally I have to take care, but it is not recommended to have more than 17 in a single go. So there what I have to do is I have to split it as a child flow rule, and then I have to take care of calling one flow into another flow. So meaning sub flow rules are allowed, but inside a single flow rule, not more than 17. So even if it is like 100 smart shapes, also you'll get the output, but it will be it will be an confusion creating for the coming developers. That is where system encourages not to have 17 in a single floor, where you can go for child floral creations also. There will be one main floral where you should have only 17, inside which I can call one more child floral and one more. Likewise, you can call multiple flows, but not more than 17 in a single one. Fine. Now, how to call one flow into another flow? That you have to know. So generally, flow rule is also called process general. In some projects, they'll call flow rule also as something as process. So it will be created under process category. That is fine. But normally flow is also called as process. Create a process for credit card. Create a process for loans. Okay, this is one. Fine. Now to call one flow into another flow, I can click on plus. Suppose if my requirement is to take one more assignment shape, I can click on plus and you can click on this one. Then you can take second assignment here. Again, click on plus. You can take third assignment here. Again, click on plus. You can take fourth assignment. Likewise, you can take more number of assignments, that too between start and end shape only. So here I should link flaction 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. System will follow the same arrows. You can see, right? So this is arrow 1, maybe arrow 2. The same sequence it will be achieving. Okay. Now, if likewise, if I wanted to take 25 screens, taking 25 assignment shapes is not correct. So instead, I have to create one child flow rule. Maybe I'm splitting. So maybe 10 assignments here, maybe few other in flow rule to one quantity. Then I have to understand calling that flow rule into this parent one. So to call one flow into another flow, you have a smart shape called sub process. As I told you, process ante nothing but flow rule, right? Here sub process meaning sub flow, calling child flow rule. So I have to use this option. So maybe if I'm using somewhere at the last, and if I'm taking one more assignment shape, which is after the sub process consider. Okay, so you try to answer this question. Okay, so today, if you are joining some project, or if you're trying to join some company, maybe Cognizant or whatever it is, and if I'm your HR there, what I'll do, I'll try to simply go for onboarding related process or flow. So where in screen number 1, we are collecting your personal details. Screen number 2, educational details. Screen number 3, something else. Okay. This is about personal details. This is about your educational details. This might be your employment details. And this might be your address details. We are collecting your address details. And in sub process, we are supposed to check for your background verification. Okay. And as part of background verification, we have one more flow where we are collecting or we are taking for police verification. Maybe here employment verification and here educational verification. And once your verification is done, then finally offer letter generation should happen. Getting my point? So now if I'm running this flow rule, so you know, personal details will be the first screen. Am I correct? Please quickly tell me. That's right.
That is good. Yeah.
And after that,
Education.
educational details. And after that, Employment details. And after that, address details, correct? And after
Yeah.
address details, what is the next screen you get? Is it about police verification related part, or is it like direct offer letter as per this design?
Police
What,
verification.
which one? Police verification, correct?
Police verification. Yeah.
And after which, employment verification. After that, educational verification. And after this,
Offer letter.
it is like offer letter. Okay. So based on your statements, I can understand flow is starting somewhere here and it is following this direction. Am I correct? Yes, right. Yes, right. So here the
Yeah.
parent flow initially executed whenever it is coming to sub-process shape. So parent flow remaining steps are not proceeding further. So here whenever the child flow execution is done, so parent is completely waiting for child all the steps to be completed. Once child flow is done, it is again resuming from resuming in the parent, and then whatever the next steps it is having, maybe offer letter or other things are like running down. So this type of behavior, we call it as synchronous behavior. Now, if I ask you what is synchronous, so calling if a parent flow if a parent flow is waiting for the child flow to be completely done, parent is waiting, it might be 1 day or 10 days. So BGV might take almost like 2 weeks time anukondi. After BGV only then we will be giving you offer letter. Parent should completely wait for the child to be done. Once child is done, remaining steps of the parent will be executed. So I mean, like parent flow rule 1, flow rule 2 are in proper sync, only one after another. Okay, now consider whatever the onboarding we are doing now, it is of very high requirement. And I wanted to onboard you in my company from today itself. Will not overthink about like background verification. I wanted to fill the position today itself, and BGV should run in the background. Maybe after 1 or 2 months, your BGV might be failed. By that time, I got some time, right? Maybe in this 2 months of time, I can look for one more resource in the background, right? Okay, so I wanted to fill one position immediately. So in that scenario, whenever I run this onboarding related screen 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and after this address verification, my requirement is to generate offer letter immediately, and parallelly this can run. Meaning now in this case, flow rule is not at all waiting for the child. No doubt child triggering is started, but is it waiting for the child completion? No, right? So parent is continuing and parallel child is also running in the background. So if flow rule 1 not waiting for the child flow rule, we call it as asynchronous behavior. In interview, straight away they'll ask you, so what do you mean by synchronous? What is asynchronous? And is this sub-process shape by default making parent to wait or not? Is the sub-process executing synchronous or asynchronous? So how to make the behavior change into sync or async? Everything you have to clearly understand. So for that, what you have to know is inside the sub-process, suppose if I double click on this one, so it will ask me what is the child flow rule name. I have to give child flow rule name, right? And just below, you'll see a small option called spin off. Spin off. If I mark this, if I mark this, what will happen is the behavior will be asynchronous, meaning the parent flow and this child flow, one will not wait for another. Both will run parallel. And if this is turned off, then behavior will be synchronous. Then behavior will be synchronous. This is what you have to do. Fine. Now, if I talk something about like what synchronous and what asynchronous is, don't confine your discussion related to flow rules only. Okay, here if parent rule is waiting for child rule, it need not be a parent flow rule waiting for child flow rule. It can be between any two type of rules. Let me tell you with another small example or real-time example. Consider if this is like screen number 1, where I'm collecting customer first name. And here, here customer first name value, I want it as alphabets only. I want it as alphabets only. Maybe if I'm entering something like Chandra at the rate 123, which is not correct, right? Which is not correct. Immediately it has to throw an error. As I told you, if it is about throwing an error background low, there must be a rule called edit validate. Okay, there will be a rule called edit validate. So let me open that property quickly, any property. Okay, so this is like some property, right? And if you look at the advanced tab, you'll see something called edit validate, where I can click on down arrow and I can use something meaningful one as alphabetic validation. If I save it, what will happen? So wherever I use this property, it might be screen 1 to collect a customer first name. Maybe customer father name in the next screen. Maybe customer mother name or customer nominee names or dependent names, whatever it is. Wherever I use this first name, its respect to validation also will be applicable. So it is looking for something like alphabetic validation. Now I can open this and see what is inside. It is defined with some Java code, what I don't bother about. Whatever it is having some Java code. So I can call validate rule. Okay, so you can see validate rule called on a property where I'm having some Java code internally. So if I'm entering Chandra if I'm just entering Chandra, so will I get any error? No, right? Just tell me, no, right? You should not get any
No.
error.
No.
If I'm entering something like 1, 2, 3, I should get an error. So meaning this property, if it is to get error or not, who is deciding this validate rule? Am I correct? So whatever the Java code we are internally using, that is deciding whether this is of correct format or not. So here rule number 1 is property and rule number 2 is edit validate. So two rules may be of two different types. So this is of property and this is of edit validate. Earlier, this is of flow rule and this is also flow rule. So to call one rule into another rule, it is like very common, no doubt. Now, this first name is supposed to carry some error message based on the rule 2 decision. Am I correct? Rule 2 decision. So after I entering something, so it is checking in this rule, meaning parent rule is waiting for the child rule to completely evaluate. So child will finally decide something and it will give return value. It will give some response. So if that is okay, this is fine. If not, it will show something as error message, right? Parent is 200% waiting for the child response. So this behavior we call it as synchronous. So 99.9 percentage in Pega, everywhere synchronization behavior only. And in few scenarios, we have to go for asynchronous, and that too inside a flow rule particularly, we have that asynchronous option with something like spin off. Okay, so these are all the things. So if I ask you what is synchronous, what is asynchronous, don't confine your discussion with flow rules. So you have to say parent rule if it is waiting for the child. Maybe if it is not waiting for the child. Okay, so this is what you have to understand. Clear, right, so far? Yes, right.
Chandra. Yes, Chandra.
Fine. So now coming back here. So you're understanding something start shape where our floral should start and end shape ultimately where floral should reach to. Okay. And maybe if it is not reaching to the end shape, that respect to transaction is still pending. Suppose if you are the customer and if I'm the bank employee, you are coming to me asking for a credit card. So what I'll do, I'll try to run this flow rule, nothing much. So where it should start from start shape and it should reach to the assignment shape. Inside assignment shape, there will be a flaction and there will be a section, and inside there will be dynamic layouts, and inside I'll say some text boxes, right? But the real user will not see any of these things executed in the execution. All this will be running in the background. So do you expect anything like green color circle showing for him? No, right? If I'm a bank employee, so if I'm running this flow rule, so will I see anything green color circle? No. Will I see any arrow likewise? No. Any assignment color green color? No. So maybe inside flow action, will I see anything? No. Maybe section also directly? No. Will I see dynamic layouts? No. So I'll just say only UI elements. Maybe if you are working in a software company or any company, so you can apply for a leave, right? So what you'll do, you'll simply click on apply leave button. That's nothing but you are the real user running one flow rule. So you don't know what is happening in the background. You'll not see anything green color circles or green color boxes. Straight away, you'll see screen number 1 asking to enter leave start date, leave end date. That's it. You'll not see how many dynamic layouts it is having with. You'll not see whether it is designed with layout mode or template mode or view. Doesn't matter at all. So this flow rule is background working only. But assignment is something what the real user should take care, right? So I have to enter leave start date and end date. So that is what the assignment for the real user. So that is, or hence the name assignment sheet. Okay, fine. So flow every time should reach or should start from start shape, and ultimately after you are applying leave, there might be screen 2 where your manager must approve. Maybe where your HR must approve and something like next steps. So when it is like last screen is also done, consider your CEO approval. Once your last screen is done, then if it is coming to the end shape, then your leave is closed. Okay, the transaction ID, whatever generated now, it is completed. So majorly, ultimate ultimately, every flow execution should 100% reach the end shape. Okay, else we are calling those as pending tasks, pending work object IDs, and inka technical ga in-flight cases is what we'll call. Okay, in-flight cases. Consider if you are working in any client where he is working between January to December at a calendar year uncounted. Consider December is their year end. And in some projects, March will be their year end. Okay, that's fine. So every year in the month of December, you might get one cleanliness activity to be performing. So consider if I'm the client, I might not know what Pega is. I'll just ask you guys to work out saying like whatever the work object ID is created so far, and if those are still pending, purge the data. That is what we'll say. What do you mean by this statement? Consider if this flow rule is executed for 10 times. So no doubt in our work table, which is starting with PC, maybe under PYID, I might see maybe 100 work object IDs, first one, second, third. And first work object ID should start here, and maybe consider we all are 10 employees. So you'll apply leave and second person will apply leave, third person, fourth person, every one of us are applying leaves. No doubt 10 transaction IDs will be created in the background, right? Maybe my leave can be approved. Your leave might be still pending and other person leave might be still rejected, whatever it is. Every work object ID or transaction created, so it will have something called status, and status should be resolved, and this will happen only it will reach to the end shape. And if something like HR pending, HR approval pending, or manager approval pending, or it might be available at screen 3, or it might be pending at screen 4, whatever. So obviously every transaction should reach the end shape, and if it is still not reaching end shape for some reason, we call those as in-flight cases. So you as a developer should check in your work table and see how many work object IDs are overall created and how many are not resolved. So those records you are still maintaining in our work table maybe from 1 year, which is of memory waste and uncounted, then your client might ask you to archive the data, meaning creating one temporary table or one more table and move the data into this one for our future storage purpose, archiving. Don't dump everything in your main work table. Or they might ask you to something called purge the data, meaning permanently deleting those unwanted data. Archiving and pushing from work table to some temp table. Maybe purging meaning permanently deleting. So these requirements what you might get as part of cleanliness, mostly in the year end part or once in a quarter you might get based on your client requirement. So here ultimately it should reach to the end shape. That is what our final point is. Okay. And in this process, there might be some scenarios of, so there might be some scenarios of doing some backend tasks also. Doing some backend tasks. What do you mean by that? So considering the earlier example of applying a leave. So if you are applying a leave, screen number 1 is what you will fill, right? After that, it might go to your manager's approval. Meaning screen 2 is to be routed for your manager. And there will be screen 3 where your HR should work. Maybe screen 4 where your CEO should finally work. Work in the sense either approve or reject. Okay, and at the last, there might be something about like email triggering. Okay, as soon as you apply leave, there must be an email triggered. So here, for triggering an email or for doing any such back-end thing, we have to go for utility as the smart shape. Okay, we are having, suppose if I click on plus, I'll see something like utility. You can see this, right? Utility. Suppose if I use utility as the smart shape after screen number 1, what might happen? As I told you, utility is something to do backend only. Okay, so here if I'm applying for a loan or a leave, screen number 1 is what I'll see. I'll not see its previous smart shapes also. Screen number 1 is what I'll see. I'll click on submit button. I might get the next assignment in the output. In the output screen, I'll not see every smart shape, right? So I might get assignment to 2 related content displayed. But by this time, if I look at my Gmail, one mail will be triggered. Okay, so if a flow rule should do something in the background without any manual intervention, then we have to use something called utility smart shape. First of all, what do you mean by utility? Ante? If we just look for your bike or car, maybe a vehicle key, so there will be something called utility box, nothing but repair box, toolkit box. So if something background should be done automatically, here we have to use a smart shape called utility. And considering the same earlier example of employee onboarding. Okay, I think I deleted it. Considering an example of employee onboarding. So if I'm your HR, where I might run this flow, where we are collecting few details from the, or where we are collecting few details from the employee like you. We'll collect your personal details and other stuff. So you are registering in our company maybe on January 1st. Whenever you are joining my company on the from the same date, you are even applicable with an health insurance, right? So maybe you are joining our TCS database and health insurance will be applicable, but insurance is not provided by this TCS directly. So there will be third party insurance providers, say Bupa. Okay, so here what you are supposed to do, you are directly doing something at TCS HR. No doubt one record, one employee ID will be generated, which is, we are calling it as PYID. So one record will be maintained and the same record is being stored into their database also. You are not carrying your ID card and going to this Bupa insurance company and saying like today I joined insurance TCS and please apply health insurance is not what you are doing manually, right? So whatever the data we are collecting from this flow, so that is to be by default stored into its work table. Now my new backend requirement is to capture the data and maintain it to some other tables, more maybe more than one. All these are your extra requirements. So for anything to be done automatically, maybe if I'm the HR, I don't know what Pega, Java, .NET, Python. So whatever the screens we are designed with, I'm just trying to collect it. That's it. So here, after I collecting personal, maybe address, whatever it is. So this might be offer letter generation. And somewhere in between, there might be one utility shape to deal with this requirement. So as an HR, I'll not do anything with this. So this is what system is doing. So how an start shape is background executing for system. Likewise, this utility shape is also something doing in the background. There is no human intervention for this. For any kind of backend requirement, we go for utility shape. If it is for sending an email automatically. So consider you, maybe in Amazon, if you are placing an order, what you'll do first, you'll open Amazon app, right? And then you'll try to choose some product, right? And then you'll go to cart page, and then you have to make payment, and that's it. Finally you'll get an email. Are you seeing anything about like email triggering in your UI part? No, right? In Amazon, are you seeing anything about like email related part? No, but background something is happening. You are the real user, you don't know how this Amazon is designed. So it might be in the same structure of what we are discussing. Are you seeing anywhere flow rule? Are you seeing any green color circle or green color box, or maybe utility shape or sub process? Nothing, right? No, that is purely for our background logical design. So you should know what is like importance of utility shape, maybe importance of sub process shape, maybe start shape, maybe end shape. So for every one of you, clear? Any questions, anyone? Clear,
Okay, bro.
right? Okay, fine. So now let me talk about few other points what we discussed earlier about a flow rule. So flow rule can instantiate work object ID. Flow rule can load flagships one after another. Okay, and flow rule will be having some routing applicable, meaning what assignment who has to work. And flow rule will be having some SLA, meaning every assignment shape will be applicable with an SLA. So if I'm applying leave, screen number one is what I'll get. Screen two will be routed to my manager, and he is supposed to approve that maybe in 2 days only. So SLA must be defined for everything. Okay, so all the points, whatever we discussed earlier, we're just trying to understand or correlate slowly. Now, you should even understand a very important point what we used earlier, that is flow rule is responsible for work object direction. Okay, so flow rule is responsible for work object direction. Okay, so now what do you mean by work object direction? So for that, earlier we discussed an example as well. So let me quickly quote that example. Suppose if I'm the real user related to credit card registration or loan registration, where there are like 4 customers standing in front of me for loan related queries. For the very first person, I'm trying to go for loan registration. Nothing but flow will run out on the. So where I might get screen number one, maybe ID as 1234 generated. Screen number one is what I'm collecting with. First name and last name, and age. Customer age is 30 years, which is perfectly eligible for this bank. Now, after which there might be educational data and something like address data and something like employment data. Likewise, 20 screens is what might be like showing up. Okay, and whenever I'm registering customer 2, 2, 3, 4, 5 might be the ID generated, and again in screen 1, I might be entering age as something 60 years or maybe 65. So if it is like more than 60, in screen number 2, I'll show something like sorry message. He's not at all eligible. Okay, so whatever the ID generated, it is like ending up with only 2 screens. And here might be like 20 screens. Now, if I'm running flow rule again, so this might be like work object ID generated, and in screen number 1, age I might enter exactly as 60 years. And in that scenario, what did we understand? So we understood it should display something like jointing, right? So saying like you are not completely eligible. Do you want to join this account with your son or daughter? This is what the options we have to get, maybe with yes or no as the values. Now, if this old man is okay to join his account with his son or daughter, then we will be continuing proceeding like educational details and maybe address details, and likewise as a whole you'll be getting 21 screens in this case. Now maybe for the fourth customer 4567 might be the ID, and screen number one again his age is 60 years. Now in this case again we should show him two options like yes or no. Now he is not okay, then we will be showing him sorry message, and we'll stop that. Okay, so if this is like your business analyst is asking you to design a flow, then no doubt overall how many possible screens, those many fractions or sections or assignment shapes you have to take care. Now, how to handle this decision making inside a flow rule? So that is what you have to clearly understand. So for that, if I'm designing my happy path, so consider this is like perfectly eligible scenario kada. We call it as an happy path. So let me quickly show you how to do that. So by default, you'll be having only one single assignment, right? By default. Okay, so now screen number one is common for every of the customers. I mean, every time screen number one will be launched. No condition for screen number one. And after screen number one, sometimes I have to get this educational part. Sometimes I have to get this part. Sometimes, meaning after screen number one, no doubt there is something like condition to be checked. So in order to check for any condition, so if I click on this place, the only smart shape what you left so far is decision shape. So take this one. And next what you have to do is you are supposed to change the connector's direction, and here decision shape is what you are taking, and inside this decision shape so you are supposed to check for customer age, right? Customer age, and this decision shape has got three outward connectors to the maximum. Okay, now I can just define my logic in this connector number one. So maybe if age is like 20 to 59, just an example. If customer age is like 20 to 59, he is perfectly eligible for us. Then what I'll do, I'll take one more assignment shape, which might be his educational data. And one more assignment shape, which might be his employment data. And maybe one more assignment shape, which might be his next scripts. So ultimately, it is reached into the last shape. So you are done with happy path. In screen number one, if customer age entered is 30 or 35, so this decision shape will check what is the customer's age is. In that scenario, it has to take this outward connector and proceeding the next scripts. Now, a real bank employee will not see what is this decision and what are the connectors in the output. Suppose I have maybe two Airtel SIMs or two Airtel mobile numbers. So when I'm trying to recharge my first number, no doubt I'll be using Airtel app, right? Maybe to recharge first number of the second number. Whenever I'm trying to recharge my first number, I might be getting some extra offers displayed. Okay, screen number one, I'm entering like my mobile number, maybe my state, and maybe some whatever few details. And screen number two, I might get some extra offer saying like, please use this code to get 25% discount. I might be using the code, and next screen is about payment. Whenever I'm trying to recharge my second mobile number, okay, I might not get that offer screen. So system or maybe that Airtel algorithm or logic, it is checking whether this mobile number is like frequently active or not. So maybe In terms of some business requirements, they are giving offer for the first number, maybe second number. Meaning screen number 1 is common every time, after which it might take me to offers related screen, or it might take some other direction. Am I seeing any decision shape in the Airtel app? No, right? Am I seeing anything like connectors there? No, it is something like decision making happening there. Okay, that's fine. So even here, if customer age is between 20 to 59, I think we are taking the next screen as maybe educational details. And this is one more outward connector. Maybe if customer age is something like more than 60, say 61, 62, it's not equal to 60, it is more than 60. So if customer is of more than 60, then what is our scenario? He is not at all eligible, right? Okay, I have to show a question for him. I have to show some message for him saying like you are not eligible. Okay, instead I'm connecting like this. So he's not eligible. Okay, I have to create a flow action for that. No doubt I have to create a section. After which, what I can do is I should stop it, meaning I can take one more end shape somewhere here and stop it. Or I can directly take the connector and link to this end shape also, doesn't matter. So if customer age is greater than 60. Now coming to the scenario of exactly 60. Consider exactly 60 uncounted. So if customer age is exactly 60, then we have to show a screen of whether he is in a plan to join the account or not. If it is about showing a screen, no doubt you have to take assignment shape, inside which you will include one flaction, maybe section saying like you are not completely eligible. Do you want this to be jointed with your son or daughter? A radio button you will drag and drop and design. Okay, fine. Now, after which there is a possibility of customer selecting yes, maybe no. Okay, if it is yes, one type of behavior. If it is no, another type. Now, again a decision making. So we'll take one more decision shape now. Maybe here or whatever the way you can design, doesn't matter. Okay, and here, if yes is selected, meaning customer wanted to join, right? In that scenario, what is the next screen I have to get? As usual, educational details. Maybe if it is no, then I can straight away stop it. So is this flow rule design or logic, every one of you clear? Come on.
Yes, Chandra.
Yes, sir. Now, Sudhir, clear, right? So talking about like
Yeah,
this something, right?
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
every one of you should be clear with whatever the requirement your business analyst is giving here. So based on the complication, no doubt your flow rule logic will be more. Okay, and at end of the day, flow rule should not have more than 17 smart shapes, as I told you. So you have to maintain the same tough logic, but you have to split it as those many flow rules, and you have to call one flow into another flow wherever required using respect to sub-process shapes. And in that scenario, by default, you have to make it as synchronous, and maybe sometimes you have to make it as asynchronous using the respective options. Everything, whatever I'm clearly explaining to you, so we have to practically work on every statement. So no doubt you'll understand every small point what I'm explaining today, and you will easily correlate every statement with our future practicals what we are working on. Okay, so in this way you have to decide. Now I'll just give you 5 seconds time. Okay, you just observe this complete flow rule and I'll ask you few questions. Okay, just try to observe for 5 seconds. That's it. Okay, now let me ask you few questions based on whatever we discussed so far. Okay, someone please tell me what will be the color of an assignment sheet?
Green.
Green.
Green, right? What is the color of assignment sheet?
Green.
Green.
Okay. Can I have more than one assignment shape in a flow?
Yes.
Yes, right? Yes. So can I have more than one start shape in the flow room?
No.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Can
I
you
think
have
no.
more than one
Yes.
start shape?
Yes.
So how it is possible?
Because the shapes for start and stop are same.
Hmm.
The shape for the start and stop are same. You can probably
How
have
it is
to.
possible to have more than one start shape?
No,
So for
I mean,
every one of us, flow registration should start in the same way, but it can end it in different ways. So to answer this, for a flow rule, there will be only one start shape and there can be more than one end shape. Got it right? So only one start shape is possible. Multiple end shapes can be possible. So can I have more than one decision shape until,
yes,
right? Can I have more than one utility shape?
yes.
Right? There must be only one start shape. Okay, someone please tell me what will be like maximum number of smart shapes recommended in a single flow?
Start, stop, assignment.
17.
17. Maximum number is like 17.
Number is
Yeah, 17.
greater than or equal to 17.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what will be the color of subprocess shape?
So
Blue.
process.
What will be the color? I'm asking about color of subprocess. You said
Blue.
assignment as green color, right? And for subprocess, what is its color?
Blue.
So process is nothing but a flow.
Hmm. Smart shape
Um,
color ending. Okay, what's the color of end shape? Obviously, you'll say it as red, correct?
red.
Okay, so
Yeah.
start shape, you'll say it as green. Assignment shape,
Yeah.
green. What about sub-process? That is what I'm asking. Sub-process shape will be in blue color. Blue color. What about decision shape?
Orange.
Decision shape,
I
what is
think
its
it's
color? And
yellow.
utility shape, what is its color?
Utility is yellow. Decision is orange.
Yellow. Okay. Decision is orange. Okay. So why am I talking about these color sentence? So next class or maybe coming classes, so we'll understand something about like case types. So in case type, there will be everything mostly in terms of color distinguishing. Suppose here, let me show you in a different application. So if I say something like case types here, maybe if I open any sample thing. Okay, so you can see something like green color. What does this mean? You have to consider it as an assignment shape. And you can see something like yellow color. What might happen here? Something about like backend execution. So you should know based on the color what is happening. Suppose if I'm opening that flow, okay, and if I just take one thing like decision shape, just an example, I'm including something like decision shape in between. I cannot save it, but okay, consider I'm trying to save it. No, it will throw an error mostly. Okay, so maybe after adding a decision shape, if I come back here, maybe if I refresh it, so at the last, I'll see something like orange color. So if it is about orange color, we have to think it as a decision. So green color is the assignment, maybe blue color is the sub-process. So in this way, you have to know. Okay, fine. So generally, decision making ante, if we are trying to travel on a road, okay, so whenever it is like traffic signal as green color, you have to stop it. Sorry, you have to proceed, right? If it is like red color, you stop it. And in between these two, there will be something like orange color. So ready to stop, ready to go. Okay, some decision making is what I have to do in that 2 seconds or 3 seconds time. So I have to stop it or I have to predict for going. So even in Pega, if you wanted to go for any decision making, which is to be in the orange color, that is what you have to understand. So today we're just understanding what are like basic smart shapes are. and what is like significance of everything, and what are like background colors and other stuff. And in again, you have to understand that there are n number of background extra smart shapes. So like if I wanted to send an email, or if I wanted to store details into third-party database, or if I wanted to do something about like routing for different managers. So what smart shape I have to use at there? So there are like different smart shapes, but everything mostly will be in yellow color. So background processing will be like yellow. That is what you have to. So clear, right? Today's class, every one of you. So in the next class, we'll understand or we'll properly configure a flow rule, and then we'll understand how to run it, and we'll understand how an work object ID is getting generated and how the same is being stored into database table and further things. So clear with this discussion, every one of you?
Yes, Chandra.
Okay, fine. So we'll meet again on day.
Chandra, I think I went through the insurance videos, but that really talks about a Citibank project. Did you notice that?
Which one?
I went through those insurance project
Hmm.
recordings. I think you posted it.
Yeah, so you are
It's
given with one insurance project, one healthcare project. So where I used organization name as Citi. So Citibank or Citi is even providing insurance, right? So Access Insurance, HDFC Insurance is what we're having, right? Like the Citi is the organization which is under insurance wing. So where we will be having some policies to be generated, where we're collecting some nominee details and other stuff, right? So just try to watch the videos for now. So maybe on Monday's session, I'll try to explain. Today I thought of explaining about projects, but forgot it. You might have reminded even at the beginning. But Monday's session will just remind me. I'll show you how to start the project. Okay. And then you should understand how to design screen number 1 also on that. Got it right?
Yeah.
Okay. And yesterday you people got even assignments. Am I correct?
Yes, Chandra.
Yes.
Right. So did you understood how to watch or how to submit those assignments?
I haven't
There is
gone through
like,
how to submit those
yeah.
assignments, but I started going through
Yes,
those 10
yes. So you are
recordings or
already
the 9
added with the
recordings.
video saying like how to submit the assignments also. You just go through that assignment, like how to steps to submit the assignment, and then you submit every assignment, and it will be coming for our evaluation. And we'll try to check whether you are following best practices or not also. Okay, now?
Yeah. Thanks, Chandra.
Do we have session tomorrow?
Tomorrow I'm taking for other batches. So which is like 1.5 hour each.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, let's take session for you also then. So I'll make like 1 hour per day. So tomorrow we'll take session. Okay, that's fine, right? So as usual, same timings like 8 to 9 only IST. We'll take the session tomorrow even for your batch. Okay, fine. Don't forget. So tomorrow we'll take the session.
Okay.
Fine, right?
Thanks, Chandra.
Yeah, thank you.